Well, hello everybody. It's now a week since the Brighton Marathon. I did my little bit of reflection as usual at the end of the marathon. Unfortunately, something went wrong with the cable for my microphone, and something very mumbly. So nothing much we can do about that. So I've been back and listened to what I had to say, so I'll just kind of do it again to the camera. So we expected a time somewhere about 4 hours 20, 4 hours 25. The day before the marathon itself, I was really quite convinced that we could do that. And even in the morning, when we were waiting for the start, it didn't really enter my head that we wouldn't be able to achieve that kind of time. It was about 9:30, 9:45 that we started, and while we were waiting for the gun to go off, it was really quite cold and I had a jersey on, and there was no real sign that things were going to change so suddenly and in such an extreme way. So I had said in the prelude video that in amongst the shops when you were in the streets, it was really quite hot, but down on the beach when there was a breeze coming in from the English Channel, it was really quite comfortable, so I didn't really think that there was going to be any problem. However, I think, saying it again, I don't think anybody really expected the temperature to change just in the way that it did. It really was remarkable how it changed almost in an instant. So 2 weeks before the marathon, I was back at home and I was doing a 20-mile run, and that day I had a hat on, I had gloves and I had a jacket, and quite chilly at Brighton, and suddenly, instead of being about 10 degrees, it was 23 degrees. So 14 degrees with a cooling breeze off the sea I could easily have coped with, but jumping from 10 to 23 without a breeze, it really was a bit of a no-hoper, and there was no shade. That was the other big thing. We were out in the full sun the whole time, so it was quite relentless and really tough. I thought I was in the best shape that I've ever been before a marathon. I'd done 20 miles in 3¼ hours, so to do another 6 miles in an hour, to give me my 4:15 or 4:20, it didn't seem really unreasonable, but after 10 miles I just kind of was totally pooped. Up until that point it was reasonably okay, or rather maybe about 10 minutes before that things were reasonably okay. I was maintaining really good pace. I've got my times here. 5k was at 29 minutes, 10k 59 minutes, 15k, so that's just 1k before the 10-mile mark, 1 hour 30. So I was maintaining my pace, that's 4-hour marathon pace, or just over 4 hours. Absolutely fine. After 20 miles I had dropped 4 minutes, and that doesn't really surprise me, but at the 25k mark, which is just over 15 miles I think, I was 40 minutes down, nearly 45 minutes down on where I should have been, and then it just kind of went down from there. By the 40k mark I was 4 hours and 50, so crazy stuff. We didn't have any wind. I think that was maybe what really did it. The temperature you can maybe cope with if you did have that cooling wind, as I say, coming in off the channel, but there was no wind at all until the last run in, maybe about the last 3-4 miles, and then we were running into a headwind. So that was essentially the problem. There was no cooling wind, and the sun was just beating straight down on us without any shade. So the time I came in it was 5 hours and 9, which is basically the same time as I did on my first marathon in Amsterdam in 2015. That was 5 hours and 8. So it was quite a long way behind the 4 hours 20 that I was really aiming for. Yeah, I was disappointed. There's no question about that. It would be wrong not to be disappointed, but I think it would be wrong to say that I was upset. I definitely wasn't upset. I knew that, from the 10-mile mark, that I wasn't going to make my target time. It was really hot. Brutal. In my notes here, I say, that today was brutal, a matter of survival. Doing the Amsterdam Marathon 2 years ago, it was cold. I think it was only about 8 degrees, and it was drizzly. So 5 hours and 8 there wasn't a brilliant time, but I'd had a lot of trouble with my feet and missed most of my training period. I only had about 6 weeks to prepare. So to then go to 23 degrees, no shade, no wind, and to put in about the same time, I think I'm really quite satisfied with that, because it shows how far I've come in that 2 years. The other note that I've got here is that when you look at the video, there's a lot of people going past me, and I finished in about 6,000 something place. So more than 6,000 people were faster than me, and the person that won it did it, I think, somewhere about 2 hours 25. Now he came in before the sun had been out for very long, so that was fair enough. But for everybody else that was round about me, they were going past me. I was going past some people, but more people were going past me. So I don't have any excuse really for it being hot, unless you look at it from the perspective of acclimatisation. So I live up in Scotland on the east coast, and it's not hot here. A really good summer's day will be 23 degrees. That's quite a good summer's day up here. Most of the people down there are in England. They're again predominantly from the southeast, I would imagine. So they're kind of used to that. They've had the temperatures building up over the last few weeks. So what to them is a nice spring day, or maybe it's a bit hot for a spring day, but it's not going from 10 degrees to 23 degrees. So I think that's why people were going past me on the route. And I guess what you need to think about here is that acclimatisation period. I only went down the day before. So from that perspective, I'm really quite glad that I kept going till the end. Any marathon is a real challenge, and you've got to be prepared for it to do it justice. I didn't do it justice, but I still had the confidence that I would get to the end. Training gives you that confidence. You run 20 miles. You run 20 miles in 3¼ hours. It means it doesn't matter what happens on the day, unless you get a significant injury, you're going to get to the finish. So I could expect to have finished in 4 hours 20, but conditions were very different on the day. And I think that brings me basically to my last point, which is that when you're training for a marathon, you really have to be prepared for anything. I was there with quite a big group of people, and we were all ready to do the marathon, but within the week before the event itself, there was quite a number of people who had to drop out because, well, there was somebody got really bad toothache and couldn't get a dental appointment before the marathon. There were colds, flus, all sorts of things that had cropped up in that last week. So you have to be prepared for things to go wrong. On the Saturday morning before I left for the airport to go to Brighton, I went out and did a 4K run, just to keep everything loosened up. And I could easily have turned an ankle while I was out, and that would have been the end of the marathon. So it's a kind of a risk that you have to take, and when you're getting prepared for a marathon, I think you really do have to be prepared for things to go wrong. And for me, they went wrong. For a lot of people, it went wrong in a much worse way than me. I've lost count of the number of people who I saw at the side of the road getting treatment from St John's ambulance, feet up in on a box and in the shade, so presumably heat exhaustion or heat stroke or something. Lots of people dropped out. Two in my group were taken to hospital, and one was kept in for at least 2 days until he was ready to get out. So I got off pretty light. Maybe part of it was that I'd had a really hot Great North Run in 2015, and that was really useful experience. And when it hit me on the marathon in Brighton, I recognised it, and I was able to adjust everything accordingly. So at the time, I thought it was a bad experience, but it proved really useful. So really, I think on reflection, everything really went very well. The marathon itself was really, really tough. Didn't make my time, but it did go really quite well. It was just the heat. Everything was just right. The day before, the morning of the event, when I hit the start line, everything was right. Got to the halfway point, and I was on target. It was 15 miles before I really started dropping significant time. So I think that I'm quite satisfied with that. So the next event is Stirling, which was 6 weeks after Brighton, 5 weeks from now. Hopefully it's not going to be 23 degrees. Oh gosh, I'm shivering here just thinking about being out in Stirling. Certainly won't be hot. The plan was to get Brighton in 4 hours 20 or 4 hours 25, which would set me up nicely to try and get a 4 hour 15 in Stirling. My current plan is to go out in a couple of days' time and try and do the marathon distance up here and see how we get on. As I said, 3 weeks ago I did 20 miles in 3¼ hours, so I'm quite sure that I can do the marathon distance in that 4 hours 20 or 4 hours 25. If I can do that, then that gives me the confidence again to go for a 4:15 in Stirling. And I'm quite convinced I can do that, but I would like to have that 4 hours 20 under my belt, just for a mental reassurance, I think. So there we are, folks. A lot to learn from Brighton, a lot of useful experience again. Really glad that I had the experience of the Great North Run in 2015, and that I was able to recognise the same conditions and adapt my strategy for Brighton accordingly. Glad that helped me get to the end, even though the time was nothing as good as I expected. But hey ho, that's life, as they say. So here's to a marathon distance in a couple of days' time, and here's to Stirling Marathon. Okay, see you soon.
If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to make sure you get notifications of all new content.